Let's start by looking at Adobe Illustrator's warping features, and if I click over here, you can see there is a whole slew of these things to work with. So let's do our little magic tear 'em off feature and bring them up here. Get them a little bit out of the way. The first one, I love this tool, it's new. It's called the With tool. So let's start by doing something like this. Pick up your pen tool, and I want you to draw and just click and drag down and to the right, about a 45-degree angle or so, it doesn't have to be exact. Let go, move over to about here, click and drag down again. And what we're doing is we're simply creating a wavy line. The more you do this, the more waves you have. We're pulling in the same direction. You can keep it up all day. So since I can keep it up all day, I'll do one more. All right, there's our wavy line. We do not want the fill, we just want the stroke. Understand the With tool does not work with fills. It changes the width of the stroke, something that was very difficult to do, I want to tell you, years ago, actually before CS5. Let's get rid of that white. Come down here, make sure you have the fill selected and click the no button down here, and we've gotten rid of it. Also, I'm going to pick up my selection tool. Let's be a little bit more generous with that stroke. Let's make it a little bit thicker. So we go to the stroke area. Incidentally, I am in the painting workspace. Let's make that about 3. Be a little bit more generous. Don't really have to, but make it a little thicker. What do we do now? Pick up the With tool. Come down on, you'll see a little white dot following you on the stroke. Click and drag where you want the first change to occur. So if we click here and drag, you'll notice it's changing it. It's making it thicker, but it's going back to point on the left and the right, because in a sense, we only have these 3 places right now. If we come over to, about here, we can do the same thing. Now it's working between the point we just made in the far right point. So we come over to here, and let's go nice and big, and then come a little bit further over to here, and click again and make nice and small. And you get the idea. We can change this all day long. What I'm attempting to do is make a big ugly snake, I suppose. I don't know how well I'm doing at that, but hey, you just got to work with what you have. Come over here again, make that a little bit thicker. Now, a couple of the tricks. You can move a point on the line by clicking it and dragging it, and it'll maintain that stretch, if you will, wherever you drag it. When you click on the point's edges, you're expanding or contracting both sides at the same time. If you hold down the Alt key, you will only expand or contract one side at a time. If you create a point by clicking and then you drag and you decide you don't want that point anymore, all you have to do is click on that point and press the Delete key, and it will be very happy to get rid of it for you. If you want the whole thing to expand at the same time, again, we come back over here again, and I'm just expanding or contracting that one point, which is fine. That might be exactly what I want to do. If I hold the Shift key down, the whole thing expands or contracts at the same time. It's a fun tool to get to know. Let's do one more thing. Let's pick up our oval tool. Actually, it's called the ellipse tool. I keep calling it the oval tool. Draw an oval. Something about like that. Don't like that color, though. I'm going to press the letter X on my keyboard and watch this. That's the shortcut for reversing fill to stroke. So I had the fill selected. I needed to get to stroke. Why come over here and click on it when you can press the letter X? Then I can come over here and change it. The next thing, go to the pen tool and go into the convert anchor point. I want you to pop that top point right there and convert it into a straight point, just like that. Let's make it a little bit thinner. We're going to go back to our selection tool and make it a little bit thinner, about like that maybe. Let's put it at an angle. We'll go down here and just drag. Okay, we've got it at the right angle. So come over here and pick up your arc tool. Draw ourselves an arc. The up and down arrow keys control the arc. So I want something not that anywhere near aggressive, just a slightly bent line. This is a very easy way to do it. Okay, say something about like that. Let's pick up our selection tool, and then we'll go ahead and we'll move that arc. Tell you what, let's zoom in on this thing. Why are we squinting? That's what a zoom tool is for. Make it bigger. That's better. That's what I'm talking about. Let's do this. Let's move that over a little bit. Okay. Pick up your width tool. Come over to our leafy part right here, the stem, and just click and drag out some. Maybe like that. And on this, at the other end, just drag it in. Make it to a point. Maybe we'll come about here and we'll put another point. Something like that. But on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Alt key down. I'm going to drag it in, and I'm going to hold the Alt key down again and drag this one out a little bit more. Just a little bit of a different look. For this, let's just do one thing. Come over to, let's try about here. And click. And let's make that a little bit bigger on that side. And maybe, I'll tell you what, let's come up here to this point and actually bring it in some. Maybe something more like that. Let's get back down to normal view. Much different look, simple stroke. In CS5, you can change that using the width tool. That's actually pretty cool. Let's go ahead and select those and get rid of them for now. The next one we'll look at, and we'll look at two in this segment, is the old warping tool right here. And we need something to warp. Let's do two things. Let's put like a star on the screen. And let's go ahead and put some text up there too. So I'll pick up the type tool, come over here and click, and type in a word like, how about warp? Makes sense. Let's select it, make that bigger. We'll come right up here. Like a nice big warp with a different font too. Don't like that font. Let's try something else and choose whatever font that you feel you want to use. Let's use Impact. Impact is like big and beefy, so you can see things going on with it. Let's pick up our selection tool. Let's make that a little bit bigger manually. Let's just warp, drag out that word warp like that. Okay. What are we doing next? Let's go to our star. Let's fill that with a color too. So I'm going to press the letter X and give it a color. Here's the warp tool. Warp tool has a brush size. If I come over to this star and begin moving on it, as you see as I rub it, it begins changing it. You say, wow, that would work better with a bigger brush, Andy. To do that, hold down your Alt key, and you'll see a small, you might not see that, but there's a small little bracket that comes up on the lower right-hand corner of the brush. Hold the Alt key down and now drag. You can make a brush any size you want. You want it bigger? Make it bigger, but you're holding the Alt key down to do that. And the more I rub it, the more it will change. We cannot warp text. All right? There's no way you can warp text. It'll tell you you can't warp it. We have to convert it first. So with it selected, go up to the word type on the pull-down menu and say create outlines. And now if you want to, we can warp the text. If you'd like to do it with a different size brush, don't forget to hold the Alt key down, and you can even make brushes that are non-round to give you exactly maybe what you want. Now, if you start messing with text like we're messing with text, if you can't read it anymore, it doesn't count. You say, Andy, that's pretty cool. I like that. I mean, I like the width tool better, but this is all right. And warp's been around for a while. But what are the options for warp? I mean, is this all I get? Can I change something? And actually you can. Most of these tools, if you double click on them, give you options. And if you double click on this tool, the warp tool, there's your option. There's the width and height of the brush. Now you can click reset to go back to that nice round little brush we were using. The angle, I mean, if you've got a brush like this, you can put it at a different angle. Intensity is the important one. How quickly does the effect apply to the object? 50% is the default. If you want it to go faster, raise the number. If you feel like the tool is getting away from you, lower the number, and then you've got detail and simplify. All those options allow me, we're back to a 100 pixel round brush, to change it. Width tool, love that tool, and the warp tool.